Welcome back to World of Immersion. Today we have a very special video in that we are ranking the top 25 rides at the Tokyo Disney Resort. Now I had the very special privilege of visiting this resort with the addition of Fantasy Springs last year, and I can honestly say Tokyo Disney has some of the best themed lands and themed rides in the entire world. But with that being said, these rankings were very difficult to make, and if you disagree, let me know in the comments down below because I'm sure some of you will not agree with these rankings. But let's get right into the video. And coming in at number 25, we have Snow White's Scary Adventures. Now, this is your typical Fantasyland dark ride, although if you do have kids, be sure to warn them because this ride is kind of scary. But it does rank at number 25 just because it has nothing special to it. And coming in at number 24 is Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. Now, I rank this a little higher than Snow White just due to the fact that you're able to spin your own ride vehicle. I think that makes it unique, and the queue is also very well detailed and themed. But it is also just a normal dark ride, but if you haven't done it, it is a lot of fun, so make sure to get on it in Tokyo Disneyland. And coming in at number 23 is Buzz Lightyear. Now this is your typical shooting ride, but I do like how it uses physical sets over screens. This ride here in Tokyo Disneyland is actually getting a major retheme. It's turning into Wreck-It Ralph, and Wreck-It Ralph is one of my favorite Disney movies, so I'm really excited to see how they turn this IP into a shooting ride. But we're ranking it just as Buzz Lightyear, and that's why it comes in at number 23. And coming in at number 22 is the Jungle Cruise. Now, I know this may seem low to some of you, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Jungle Cruise. I do think a skipper sometimes making your ride through experience negative is a bad thing. I also don't like how the animatronics are a little bit outdated. I think the ride overall is just not as re-rideable as some of the other rides. But it is still a classic Disneyland ride, and if you have never done it, make sure to get on it because it's still a lot of fun. However, I'm just not a fan of the skipper and your personalized experience sometimes being altered. But coming in at number 21 is Star Tours. Now, I am a huge fan of Star Tours. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I do think this ride still holds up today. I love the atmosphere in the ride, and everybody always just seems like they're having so much fun. I love how each mission is randomized, and I think it makes it very re-rideable, unlike the Jungle Cruise. That's why it's ranked just one spot above it. But coming in at number 20, we do have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now, this is one of the most unique dark rides I've ever been on, and I think the suspended aspect of the ride vehicle does make it a lot of fun. I think this being a one-of-a-kind dark ride experience places it above some of the other dark rides in my opinion, and I had a lot of fun on it. But coming in at number 19 is Toy Story Midway Mania. Now, this is the best shooter ride on property in my opinion. Even though it does use screens, I think they're incorporated very well, and Toy Story Midway Mania just overall is a lot of fun. I love the Toy Story theme, and I love the Toy Story movies. I think this ride just captures the shooting ride very perfectly, in my opinion. And coming in at number 18 is Raging Spirits. Now, this is your typical family coaster. We actually waited about 30 minutes for this ride because the capacity was pretty awful on this ride. But it was still a lot of fun. It does have a loop, which is mildly intense. But overall, the theming is really good on this ride, and I highly recommend checking it out if it has a short wait. But overall, it's a pretty solid ride. And coming in at number 17 is Aquatopia. Now, Aquatopia is one of my guilty pleasures, and I absolutely love this ride. I think it brings a great kinetic energy to Tokyo Disney Sea, and you get absolutely soaked on this attraction. I love how this is a trackless ride, and I think this ride overall is just so much fun. But coming in at number 16 is Big Thunder Mountain. Now, this also may seem like it's ranking pretty low, but I'm just also not big on this ride. I know it's a Disney classic, but honestly, there's nothing crazy on this ride. The elements are just okay, and I do think it's hard to re-ride this ride just because it's not as thrilling as some of the other Disney coasters. But it's still a lot of fun, and it's a classic, so if you've never ridden it, make sure to get out there and do it. But coming in at number 15 is Soaring Fantastic Flight. Now, I absolutely love Soarin'. I think this is the best flight simulator in the entire world. It has the best soundtrack on a Disney ride, in my opinion. I love the scents and smells that come throughout the ride, and I think it makes it super immersive. And honestly, the queue in Tokyo's Disney Sea is so much better than the one in DCA. And just overall, this ride is just amazing. Coming in at number 14 is Tower of Terror. Now, out of the 3 Tower of Terror clones I've been on, I think this is the worst one. This ride has probably the worst drop sequence out of the 3, and is also just not as thrilling. It does have its own unique storyline, which I think separates it from the others for sure. But overall, it's just not the best Tower of Terror I've been on, but it's still a fun drop tower, and that's why it comes in at number 14. And at number 13 is Tangled. Now, this is one of Fantasy Springs' attractions, and I actually love this ride. It is very short though. Do be warned if you're going and expecting a long boat attraction, it is not. But I absolutely love the Tangle movies, and I think this ride still brings that movie energy to life. The animatronics on this ride are insane. You start by journeying outside, passing by Rapunzel's tower, and then go inside and pass by the famous boat scene from the movie with all the lanterns going around the whole room. And honestly, it's just a visual spectacle. But this ride is such a great supporting ride to Fantasy Springs, and overall, it's just a great dark ride. And I think Disney should make more modern day dark rides like this one. And coming in at number 12 is Monsters Ride and Go Seek. Now, I went into this ride expecting nothing because I knew nothing about this ride. But just walking into the queue, I was already stunned. It recreates the famous work site where Mike and Sully worked at in Monstropolis, and I think it looks amazing. But when you're actually on the ride, you do have flashlights and you can interact with the animatronics by aiming at the work hats, and I think this is a great element to any ride. It makes it so you can rewrite it over and over again and find new animatronics that you hadn't seen the first time, and they interact with each time you point the flashlight at it. And I think that interactive element just puts it above all these other dark rides. And I actually love the Monsters Inc. movies as well, so I think this movie perfectly recreates a lot of those sets. And coming in at number 11 is Space Mountain. Now, this is Disney's famous indoor roller coaster, and it's one of the most iconic rides they've ever built. But actually, Intamin is retracking the entire thing, and it's getting this retro futuristic look, and I think it's a great change. It's supposed to have launches and other cool elements that no Disney ride has ever had before, so I'm really excited to see what they do with it. But we are ranking it as just the classic Space Mountain attraction that you all know and love, and I think it comes in at number 11 just because some of these other rides are more unique and I prefer them. And kicking off the top 10, we have Pooh's Honey Hunt. Now, this is the first ever trackless dark ride, and I think this ride captures Winnie the Pooh perfectly. The queue for this ride is honestly amazing, and I didn't know anything about it as well. I love how they recreated a lot of the famous scenes from Winnie the Pooh, and the effects on this ride are honestly really good for how old this ride is. I love the trackless ride system and how it's able to do storytelling in its own way and able to take you through scenes that other ride systems can't. I think Winnie the Pooh animatronics in this ride are also really good. They have this one scene where the whole room goes dark and then the stars kind of appear all around you, and I think that's just such a cool effect in any ride. And I absolutely love this iteration of Winnie the Pooh, and it is easily the best Winnie the Pooh ride on the entire planet. And coming in at number 9, we have Indiana Jones. Now, this also may seem kind of low, but it is because we have a clone of the ones here in California, and I do think it is pretty similar. But it has updated effects, and it has a lot more of a darker tone to it. They have this cool tornado effect in the big showroom, and I think it looks awesome. But this ride is a perfect dark ride in my opinion still. I love Indiana Jones, and I think the famous boulder scene looks a lot better in this ride as well. Just overall, it's just a lot smoother and just a better experience than the one we have here in California. But coming in at number 8, we have Sinbad's Storybook Voyage. Now, this ride kind of reminded me of Small World, but just advanced in every single way. It has this giant puppet at the end, which looks insane in person, but overall, the instrumentals and music in this ride make it feel like a classic Disney ride. I love these modern day boat dark rides, and I think they should have more of these all over the resort. It is truly one of Disney's hidden gems, and if you're at Tokyo Disney Sea, you have to ride this ride at least once because just the set design alone makes it worth it. And coming in at number 7, we have Journey to the Center of the Earth. It is inside the park's icon, which is a volcano, and we rode this about 3 times. We actually rope dropped this ride, and it was only about a 20-minute wait the first time we did it, but I absolutely loved it. You start off your ride experience by exploring these caves with some of the best lighting on any ride I've ever seen, and then you encounter this giant animatronic before speeding into complete darkness. And that's just why I absolutely love this ride. I love when rides combine theme and thrill and can make it a perfect ride experience. It was one of the most re-rideable rides of the entire trip, and out of the 3 rides, Cars, Test Track, and Journey to the Center of the Earth, I think easily Journey to the Center of the Earth is the best utilization of this ride system. And coming in at number 6, we have Haunted Mansion. Now, this is a clone of the one we have in California, but I think it's still great. I absolutely love the Haunted Mansion. It is one of my favorite dark rides of all time. If you're in Tokyo Disneyland, check this ride out because it is a true classic. And coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, this is probably the ride in my life I've been on the most, and it amazes me every time. The set design on this ride is incredible, the animatronics still hold up today, and it is one of the most immersive boat rides you can go on. And I still personally believe it is a top 5 ride in all of Tokyo Disney. And coming in at number 4 is Enchanted Tales of Beauty and the Beast. This is probably one of my favorite Disney rides of all time. From the moment you enter the queue, you enter the iconic castle from the movie, and it's just stunning. The pre-show also has some incredible animatronics, and if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but it is pretty insane how these animatronics can move forward and backward like that. And once you get onto the ride vehicle and inside one of the scenes, the room literally transforms around you. You're in each scene for about 3 to 4 minutes, and each animatronic in the room is playing out from one of the iconic songs in the movie. The very first room is Be Our Guest, and it is a long scene. I love the way that the ride vehicles surround the famous dining table from the movie, and you are literally dancing around in the room with the animatronics, and it is just truly a magical experience. There was also a really cool effect at the end of the ride that I won't spoil, but it is honestly mind blowing, and I still don't know how they do it. We went on a pretty empty day, and we were able to ride this ride twice and practically walk on. But even if the line is long, it is completely worth it. This is one of the most unique attractions in the entire world, and I think it is completely worth waiting. And coming in at number 3 is the one and only Splash Mountain. Now, this is my favorite ride in the entire world. It has been my favorite ride for the past couple years, and I was really sad to hear when it was going to be closing in the States. And I also don't think it is a debate that this is the best log flume in the entire world. The way this ride is able to use over 100 animatronics, completely immerse you in detailed sets, while bringing thrill into the ride is honestly perfect for me. But I simply couldn't rank it over these other two attractions just because these two blew me away with how amazing they were. And coming in at number 2 is Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. Now I think this ride has the best combination of practical and visual effects in the entire world. It utilizes the same system as Transformers and Spider-Man and Islands of Adventure, but I think it absolutely does it the best. These are the highest quality screens I've ever seen in any ride in the entire world, and I've been on Battle of the Ministry, and I still think Peter Pan has better quality screens than that. There has never been a ride that has made me truly feel like I'm soaring through the skies like Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. I think this is a modern day Soarin' in its own way, and I absolutely love this ride. The soundtrack for this ride is also amazing. We rerode this ride about 5 times, and I think it is probably one of the most re-rideable rides in the entire world, with it being one of the newest Disney rides even. This ride really does a good job of making you feel like you're a part of the story. You're literally dodging cannonballs and flying past the pirates' swords. And overall, videos just don't do this ride justice. If you're thinking about going to Japan, book the flight, go to Tokyo Disney, and do this ride because I think it is completely worth it just off this ride alone. But I still don't think it takes the number 1 spot, and that belongs to Frozen. This ride is truly one of Disney's greatest accomplishments. From when you step in the queue, you're immediately transported into Anna and Elsa's kingdom, and it absolutely looks insane in person. It is one of the best queues in the entire world, if not the best queue in the entire world, and I think it just recreates the sets from the movie perfectly. But when you're on the ride, it truly feels like you're in a modern day Pirates of the Caribbean. It takes you through the entire story of the movie Frozen and has some of the best animatronics, if not the best animatronics, in the entire world. The ride has multiple switch tracks, and when you enter a new room, the lighting suddenly brings it to life, and it is insane seeing the reveal every time. There is also a scene at the end of the ride where the castle is entirely frozen in ice, but the projection mapping makes it look like it entirely melts away right in front of you, and it has the best projection mapping out of any ride in the entire world, and I don't think it is a debate. Honestly, no ride has ever left me as shocked as this when I got off from the very first time, and I think it is truly the best ride in all of Tokyo Disney. But that is going to do it for our rankings today. Comment down below if you agree, if you've been, and tell me how you would have made this list. Thank you for watching World of Immersion, and we'll catch you in the next one.